All right, everyone. Hello and welcome into our post-game video following the Minnesota Vikings opening day debacle and defeat at the hands of the Cincinnati Bengals on the road in Cincinnati. For the second straight year, the Vikings will open the regular season campaign 0-1 on the wrong side of the win-loss column, and this one stings just a little bit more, I think, personally, than last year, but we'll get to that in a minute. First, before I give you my thoughts and review about today's game, don't forget to leave a comment below on this video to be featured potentially in tomorrow's video, the day after Cincinnati. That is our little collaborative project here in our community where I go over your comments, read them, present them, give you my feedback, and then that is your comments, our video, the day after Cincinnati. So if you haven't been able to participate in that, leave a comment below. You would potentially be selected for that. This is your chance to be heard, your opinion to be voiced. And as always, I always recommend and advise people to leave comments that are short, concise, and to the point, because the screen caps can only be so big. So if you write me a really long response or write a novel, I'm still going to read it. But the shorter comments have the better chance of getting featured on the day after. So make sure to participate in that. We always do very well with that. We always get a lot of comments to pick from. I'll try to pick 10 or so, and we'll see how it goes. So that is your homework for today. Now I get to talk about that game that we just had to suffer through, because man, was that embarrassing. The nightmare scenario that I think we all feared has come to fruition, and we saw the red flags and we saw the alarms going off in the preseason, which we all kind of dismissed as, hey, it's just preseason, it doesn't count, it's just backups, the starters haven't played. Well, the starters played today, and it looks like they haven't played together for a long time, especially in that absolutely atrocious first half. There isn't the right adjective that we could even pull out to describe what that first half was, if I'm being honest with myself. That was just a total debacle. That was, this team once again being unprepared, showing that they are devoid of leadership, showing that they are devoid of intelligent coaching and philosophies that are ready for the modern era of the NFL, which is 2021. So in the first half, we have penalties galore, right? In the first 5 minutes, I think we had 4 of them, and the offensive line is largely to blame. Over the entire course of the game, the Vikings were penalized 17 times, and 12 of those were accepted. It was like 100 and some yards, just absolutely brutal, stupid. I expect better from professional athletes, especially when the expectations for this team are to get back to the playoffs. So once again, the offensive line is a huge problem, because if it isn't penalties that's plaguing this team, it's the sacks and the pressures, because there was a lot of sacks given up today, and Kirk Cousins was once again not given the adequate pass protection that he needs in order to be hyper successful. He was still pretty good today. There's a few throws in the first half that I would like to see him get back. A few that he threw behind Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson, throwing to where they were, not where they were going to be. I'm still tired of the check downs and, the dump off passes. There was a pass today where he had to get rid of it because of pressure, but he throws at the feet of Dalvin Cook, who isn't even looking at him. I think that was a screen that just never developed or took too long to develop. Of course, Mike Zimmer wasn't hesitating at all to criticize Kirk Cousins holding on to the ball too long to Fox News reporters on the sidelines, so I'm sure we'll get to revisit that at some point later in the week. But overall, the first half, just a complete disaster. And, it's amazing that they clawed back, but I'm not going to give them credit for clawing back and fighting to stay in this game, because they don't deserve that credit, because you shouldn't be putting yourself into that kind of a situation in the first place. It was like the Vikings unlocked a cheat code where they had unlimited ammo, and all they could do was just shoot themselves in the foot for the entire first half of this game. You're never going to win. You're never going to make the playoffs playing that ridiculous. It's just not going to happen. We need to have a real discussion about what this team is capable of this year, because if that's the best that they can do against the Cincinnati Bengals and a head coach that has only won 6 games, get the right number here, in 2 years. We just handed him his 7th victory in 2 years as a head coach. I believe he is now 7-25. Zach Taylor is not a good head coach. The Cincinnati Bengals are not a good team. They're not a well-run organization. They don't have a lot of success, and we made them look like contenders today. Let's be honest, we really did. It's just all the same problems have come back. We thought we solved all these problems in the offseason and through one game, and I don't want to, hit the panic button. I am hyper aware of where in the room the panic button currently resides. I might inch a little closer to it, but I'm not touching it. It's going to sound like I'm panicking, but I'm not. But, these are valid criticisms because this team played like garbage today. We thought we solved all these problems in the offseason, right? We had a bad run defense, we had an inexperienced secondary, and we had an offensive line that couldn't pass protect. Guess what 3 things we couldn't do today? So we get burned by Jamar Chase for 100 yards and a touchdown, a guy who has been criticized this preseason for having the yips and dropping too many balls because it's a different ball than what the NCAA has. Turns out that's not the case, and when Joe Burrow, your starting quarterback, says we have no concerns about our star wide receiver from the NFL draft this year, we should probably listen to him because he looked pretty good today. We spent all this money on the defensive line. The defensive line was bad. Jaleel Johnson and Shamar Stephen were bad. We've got Michael Pierce back. We've got Danielle Hunter. We've got Dalvin Tomlinson, Sheldon Richardson, Everson Griffin. This run defense is going to be electric. Joe Mixon gets 100 yards, and I believe that total the Cincinnati Bengals got somewhere near 150 yards rushing on the day. So run defense is not fixed, and it cost us mightily today. The other thing that we thought we fixed was the offensive line. We've already discussed that at length with all of the penalty sacks and pressures, and no, it has not been fixed. The Band-Aids ripped right off early on. Rashad Hill is not that dude, and there's still problems on the interior. Overall, it's the same shit, different day for this team, and I don't expect anything to really get all that much better. Think about where we're going from here, right? Because we just had a miserable day against the Cincinnati Bengals. For the next 3 games, we play some pretty tough opponents: the Arizona Cardinals, the Cleveland Browns, and the Seattle Seahawks. The Arizona Cardinals lit the place up today. Have you seen the highlight clips from Kyler Murray? How the hell are we going to stop that, right? The Cleveland Browns, last I checked, their game is still going on, but they're going toe-to-toe with the Kansas City Chiefs. The Kevin Stefanski revenge game is shaping up to have us asking a lot of questions if that goes south. And then the Seattle Seahawks are always a thorn in our side, and Russell Wilson and Tyler Lockett lit up the world today as well. So by the time we get to the bye week, we may be having a lot of the same discussions that we were having at the bye week last year. I did a video about firing Mike Zimmer, benching Kirk Cousins. I'm not blaming Kirk Cousins today. Kirk stance can get off me. He had a decent game, but there's still some things he did today that are worthy of criticism, especially when you make 16.5% of the total salary cap. That makes it not possible for you to sign guys like Trey Hendrickson, who definitely was in your face today, and guys like Joe Thuney, who definitely you could have used today instead of Ezra Cleveland and Oli Udoh. That's criticism for another day, but it is worth addressing because I know Kirk Stan's going to be like, "Oh, look at his statistics. They were so good." I don't care. I don't care about his statistics or his passer rating. I want to win games, and we didn't do that today. And I know it wasn't his fault, but he's still worthy of criticism because he is still part of the L that is going in the win-loss column today. The one thing that didn't screw us was special teams. Go figure. I don't know how that's possible, but, the special team unit didn't let us down. Credit to Greg Joseph for making a 53-yard clutch field goal, not once, but twice, because he got iced with the timeout. And Jordan Berry didn't have a good start to the day, but then again, who did? And he had a clutch punt to, pin them deep late in the game. So the special teams overall, not too bad, actually pretty good. I think it was better than what we expected. I think that was our main concern going into the season, and they're okay. They're going to be fine, it looks like. So we'll see how it goes. Still a lot of football left to play. But that brings us to the end of the video here. That is my long-winded rant. I think I got to all of the points that I wanted to make. Not confident about this team, man. Not confident. Let me know what your thoughts are, of course, in the videos below. My nose just itches all of a sudden for some reason. So, overall, there's some good things to take away from this game. Of course, you don't want to just sling mud at the entire team, but at the same time, I expect wins. I expect this team to go to the playoffs. We have spent a lot of money on free agents today that ended up not, panning out, not doing what we expected. We expected this to be a top 10 defense. And, we're giving up 100 yards to a rookie wide receiver who, albeit, is a really good player. So, and Joe Burrow, credit to him and Zach Taylor. They've got some fucking stones, man. Those 4th and 1 calls late in the game, like the first one didn't work out. And, I think if that play call, that first 4th down that they didn't convert, if that goes differently, I think we're having a much larger critique of the Vikings today. But, that blown 4th down call allowed us to get back in it. But late in the game, that quarterback sneak they checked out of, and then they threw the pass to their tight end, whose name escapes me, not Drew Sample, the other one, the Uzomo or something. And Mike Zimmer said in his post-game press conference that they practiced for that play and they just weren't able to execute. So, yeah, overall, offense took too long to get going, shot themselves in the foot way too much, too many penalties on both sides of the ball, but mostly the offensive line. This offensive line is going to be tested heavily next week as we go up against the Cardinals and Chandler Jones, who had 5 sacks today. So be prepared for that. I think he also had 2 turnovers. And then, we go up against the Browns that have Myles Garrett. The Seahawks always give us problems. There's a lot of things that have to go right for this team to do good this year. And 0-1 is the worst start that we could do. Even a tie would have been bad. And, we didn't deserve it. We didn't deserve to win today. It's just the way that it is. So don't forget to leave a comment. That's going to do it for me today. Leave a comment so that we can talk about this at length tomorrow in the day after Cincinnati. Thank you guys very much for watching. Have a good day. I'll see you in the next one.